Thanks for coming to j&ntravels podcast with your hosts, John and Nancy.
Hi.
We will discuss everything travel, including cruising, Disney World, other general travel, snowbirding tips, trivia, and other fun things.
Thanks for joining us. Each podcast contains 2 segments with travel information. We also have Nancy's Trivia, travel fun facts, and snowbird tips. We have been getting some questions emailed to us and will answer one question on each podcast. If interested in sending us a question or making up a comment, email us at j&ntravels@yahoo.com. Please check out our J&N Travels Facebook page, J&N Travels merchandise store, our J&N Travels YouTube channel, and visit our podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and Apple. Our information for everything is listed below. We like to start off each podcast with Nancy's Trivia. Nancy, that's me, will give you the trivia questions now, and she will give you the answers towards the end of our podcast.
This is a part of our video where Nancy gives you 3 trivia questions and holds off on the answers. And at the end of our video, she will give you the question and the answer. So, Nancy, what are your 3 trivia questions today?
Okay, the first one is, in what country did the first Starbucks open outside of North America?
In what country did the first Starbucks open outside of North America?
That's right. Number 2 is, where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II?
So number 2 is, where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II? Mm-hmm. That'd be an interesting answer.
Number 3, Pocahontas was baptized and given what English name?
Did not know she was baptized.
I actually know this one. I learned about this.
Well, that's an interesting question. Pocahontas was baptized and given what English name? Okay, thank you, Nancy. At the end of the video, she'll give the answers to these trivia. Topic today was things we recommend doing in the Northeast. A lot of you don't live in the Northeast like we do. We've lived here all our lives, but you travel to the Northeast. So these are some of the things that we've done over the years and that we recommend. The first 11 are things we recommend to do in the Northeast as adults. So the first one on our list, Nance, was Cape Cod.
Oh, yeah, I love Cape Cod.
That's a big generalization. Technically, it's an island, even though people say it's peninsula, because they built the Cape Cod Canal, which made it an island. But there are 2 bridges that go over to it. We love going in the off-season.
Yeah, it's crowded during summer.
We've gone all our lives. We even owned a place down there for a few years, a small place that we went down when the kids were younger. And it goes from Provincetown all the way to the bridge. To the bridge. It's beautiful beaches down there.
Yeah.
Gift shops, restaurants. It's tough in the summer because there's really only 2 main roads. So the traffic is terrible in the summer.
I think it's Route 6 that we took that was very scenic.
Route 6A is the one up top that's scenic. And then there's Route 6, which cuts through the middle. And then, I don't know if I call it highway. Then there's Route 28, which is the one that has all the stores. That's the real built up one.
Yeah.
We've done weeks down there. We've done weekends down there.
Yeah. Spent a week in Provincetown.
Yeah, we did that.
Was nice.
Right.
And the National Seashore that we saw.
Well, if you go down to the far end of the Cape, has anyone been to the Cape Cod before? If you go down to the far end of the Cape, it's high dunes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Jump off the dunes.
I remember our son jumping off the dunes.
It's very artsy.
Yeah.
I imagine Niagara Falls is nice. That's what Kenny told.
Oh,
that we didn't even put that on our list.
We went there 5 years ago. I wanted to go for my 60th birthday. So we went and I had a blast. I loved it.
Yeah, there's a lot to do at Niagara Falls. Yeah. We thought we would have to get in the car all the time.
We walked everywhere.
We got in the car once
to go to the butterfly place.
Go to the butterfly place in Canada.
Yeah.
But we actually, the other times we went in Canada, we went there several times. We were able to walk into Canada.
Yeah.
Over the bridge.
Yeah, the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, it was a fun. We spent a week, or was it just a long?
Spent a week. No, it was a week.
A week.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Some of the other things down the Cape, though, other than eating and the beach and the nightclubs, they have semi-pro baseball teams down there.
Oh, yeah, we watched that. That was really cool.
Went to several games there.
Yeah.
It's odds and then tourist attractions.
Well, they used to have, I don't think they have it anymore. What was that? They had the dolphins. Was it circus? Do you remember with the dolphins that we saw?
Yeah, Aqua Circus.
Aqua
I don't even know if
Circus.
that's still open.
Yeah.
When we first started going 30 years ago, there were 2 dolphins, a bunch of other things. The dolphins had died.
I know. It was fun to take the kids there to see the dolphins perform.
Look, that's Cape Cod. Okay. Then we moved down to second on our list, which is zoos. Now, the thumbnail shows Benson's Wild Animal Farm, which was a terrific zoo
that was
back in
very
the
good.
heyday.
Yeah, back in the heyday, but that's
long gone.
Yes.
Then we had a Greenville Zoo, which was a couple towns over from us, which was a rehab for animals.
Yeah.
Which was great. They were building it.
Yeah.
But then the owner had a heart attack.
Yeah, that was too bad because they had some really cool animals there.
And now it's condominiums.
Yes. But at least we enjoyed it and took our kids there and they enjoyed it. For the 2 to 3 years it was in operation.
Yeah, I think it was more than that, but we saw it towards the end, yeah. And then there's the 2 biggest zoos in the Northeast. That is the Roger Williams,
yes,
Rhode
that
Island,
was great. Fantastic zoo.
which is a very nice zoo.
Very, very nice.
In the area. Very clean, very nice. And the Franklin Park Zoo. Yes,
I was really surprised because, we live in New Hampshire and that was a field trip that they offered. And I got to chaperone when my daughter was young. It was like a 2-hour bus ride, but
the thing is, it's a nice zoo.
It was a nice zoo.
I haven't been since I was a kid, but it's in a sketchy part of Boston.
Yeah. So. I was surprised that they were going there, but it was a wonderful field trip.
Third one on our list is Maine, which is a general touch on Maine. There's so parts of Maine.
So many parts.
Sebago, which is very far north and inland, was a big lake that I ran a group camping trip.
I know.
Every year.
Couldn't swim during
no, it was
Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend, right? But we did that for years.
We did. It was fun.
A beautiful place.
It is beautiful. Beautiful.
Kittery, Maine, which is on the southern corner of Maine.
Yep.
Ogunquit, more of an artsy area, which we stayed at.
Yeah, and they have the marginal way that you can walk.
Yeah, it's a nice walk right along the water.
Yeah, we have video on that. It's beautiful.
Old Orchard, which is more of there's an area right down by the water in the pier that has amusements, a lot of stuff for kids to do.
Little honky-tonk area.
Water park.
Yeah, but that's also lovely too.
You said the marginal way. So Maine as a whole, but we usually hang out on the ocean side of Maine.
Yeah.
But the inside has a lot to offer too.
You can't forget Bar Harbor, like I mentioned earlier, Acadia National Park.
We love Bar Harbor. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Back. Another spot in New England you should touch is the White Mountains.
Of course.
You go up in the mountains. They have your little things like what's the one with the bears there?
Oh, Clark's Trading Post.
The Lost River.
The
Flume.
And all these waterfalls in Jackson, New Hampshire. They have Diana's Bath, and I can't remember the other ones, but
great for camping, great for hiking. Yeah. I have friends this weekend that are going up to the top of Mount Washington. You can take a cog railway.
That's cool.
Or you can drive up if you want to take your car up to the top. And then there's the few that will hike up.
Yeah, of course.
Which is a long hike, of course. Old Orchard is beautiful most of the year. It's very busy during the summer months, as you can imagine, but it's a nice area. So that's the White Mountains. We're just touching on these things, of course. We could do a whole show on each one of these, right? Apple picking.
Oh, we do that every year.
My daughter, it's become a tradition. My daughter won't let it go. She wants to do it on the birthday. Yeah. So we go apple picking in September every year.
We started when she was 2 weeks old, and we haven't stopped.
That's right. Even though we've outlived a lot of the apple orchards around here.
We did. A lot of them have closed.
But that's always fun. Now, it's funny how different states have different things, like you're not going to find. I mean, I don't know if I imagine Florida, you got your grapefruits and your oranges, right? And different places. Apple pick. The other one, we just have a generalization for the East Coast Ocean. I have gotten spoiled with cruises and Caribbean Ocean. I find it very hard to get into the oceans up here now. But there are a lot of nice oceans. Cape Cod surrounded by them, along the coast of New Hampshire, Maine. There's plenty of places to go spend a weekend and just kind of sit on the ocean, even if you don't want to go swimming.
Right.
Maine I won't touch. Maine's too cold.
Right.
I have gone in New Hampshire and I have gone in down Cape Cod. But
yeah.
Nancy's brave. She has gone in the water in Maine.
I have. But you gotta, in August it's jellyfish season, so you gotta be aware that if you go in the ocean you're gonna encounter some jellyfish.
Do we have that problem up here?
I would think so, but we haven't gone to the ocean recently, so I don't know.
Another on our list of the 11 things we recommend to do in the Northeast as adults is the lakes. Lots of lakes in the area, especially in New Hampshire, in the area we live in. The biggest one probably that we go to a lot is Lake Winnipesaukee. It's a lot of fun. If you don't like the ocean, the lakes will tend to be warmer. A lot to do, jet skis and water skiing and stuff like that. So we recommend just getting a place on the lake if that's something you want to do. Hiking's everywhere up here. We have been a little deterred late this year because of the ticks.
The ticks were horrible.
So we tend to stay away from the woods. In the past, we would at least once a week take a hike in the woods. We can leave without getting in the car. We can go take a hike down the street.
We have
the woods.
Mount Wataic, that's only about 10 minutes away. We have Mount Monadnock, that's about 15 minutes away.
That's the second most climbed mountain in the world. And then, there's Vermont. You go to the mountains of Vermont, you go to the White Mountains, you go to Maine, plenty of places, and hikes along the water too. Next one on our list is a generalization of country fairs. What's your favorite country fair?
Well, I enjoyed the Big E, but we haven't been in years, but I just enjoy all the little fairs around here. When we first got married, we hit them all. All the little fairs. And
the biggest one was the Big E.
I think the Deerfield one was a good size one.
That's a good one. We have a local one up in Keene here, which isn't that great, but it's okay. And like you said, a lot of local fairs. That's something we really enjoy doing during the summer. I don't eat a lot of seafood down south because we always have a reputation of having the best seafood up northeast, so we stay away from it. Not avoid it, but it's just how we don't go out of our way for it.
Right.
But I really never compared it.
Oh, growing up, we used to have clam bakes once a year. It was awesome. So good.
Next one on our list is Newport. Newport, Rhode Island. We had timeshare and we would go down there once a year for a week every year. I love being right in Newport. There was the waterfront. They used to run the yacht races down there. There were shops. There was a cliff walk, which was a nice walk right along the cliffs. That
was really pretty.
And then your favorite was the mansions?
Yeah, I love the mansions, especially the Breakers, I think it's called. I think the movie Great Gatsby was filmed there.
So that's Newport. And to touch on our last one, which is Vermont, we've gone up there just for canoeing and nice drives in the mountains.
Yeah, and the Connecticut River, they have you can canoe on the Connecticut River. It's very, very scenic.
And some of the better skiing was up in Vermont that we would go to too. So that was nice.
Mount Killington.
We also throw on this list 5 things we recommend to do in the Northeast with children. So you could do the top ones with kids or without. Ones we did quite a bit when the kids were younger, which we figured we'd throw out there. People with young kids was Storyland.
That was so much fun. I'd go there without kids. I liked it so much.
It was a very clean, less crowded amusement park. I wouldn't bring anyone over probably 12 years old because the rides would get to younger. Yeah. But it's quite a nice amusement park. At a reasonable price, even the food. You don't say that amusement park much was reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Second one on the list for kids. Vermont has great cheese and maple syrup. That is true.
We went to that cheese place. What was the name of it? We really enjoyed it. I can't think of the name of it. That and what's the ice cream place?
Oh, Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's.
So that was Storyland.
Yeah.
Another thing Nancy would do all the time with usually the children and maybe some friends of the family was go to the berry picking.
Oh, yeah. I did
either strawberry or blackberry?
Blueberries. What?
Okay. Another one was Six Flags. This is our biggest amusement park in the area, probably, before you get to the real mega one. So you have to drive a good hour and a half from our house to get to this place. Yeah. And everyone knows where the Six Flags are. There's one out, what is it, Agawam?
Agawam, Mass.
And then camping with the kids, of course. These are the 5 things we recommend to do in the Northeast with children. Camping. We did plenty of camping around the area.
We did.
In fact, before we started doing the hotel thing and then the time sharing thing, every place we went, we basically would stay at the campground and go visit the activity.
Yeah, they had some lovely campgrounds.
And the last one on our list here is great. It's a great mid-sized park, very clean. It's Canopy Lake in New Hampshire.
Yes, that's a great park. I really was very pleasantly pleased when I went there to see how clean it was. It's beautiful.
It's not your mega park, so don't expect that, but it's a nice mid-range park.
And they had some really good shows. I think we saw I think they had an impersonator for Justin Bieber one time, and then they had one, Katy Perry, we saw. The impersonator for Katy Perry. And we thought that was really good. And they had Elvis. Elvis was excellent. So today's fun facts are Disney EPCOT Art Festival. I have 6 fun facts about the art festival that we were lucky to see, and I absolutely loved it. So the first fun fact is Animation Academy encourages guests to create their own piece of Disney artistry with step-by-step instruction on how to draw your favorite Disney characters. Number 2, artful photo ops invite you to actually step into a piece of art for a one-of-a-kind photo, find familiar favorites like the Mona Lisa, and be part of the picture. Number 3, Disney chalk art can be found around EPCOT all festival long. These are also opportunities for kids to create their own Disney chalk art. Number 4, Figment's brush with the Master's Scavenger Hunt. This sets you on a search for Figment, the mascot of Festival of the Arts. Everyone in your group will enjoy keeping an eye out for Figment hiding in plain sight in some of the world's most notable pieces of art. Number 5, Paint by Number Mural. Stop by the mural and take a turn painting a few squares yourself. Then watch in awe as the image comes to life throughout the day. It's all hand painted by you and the other guests visiting EPCOT during the festival. And last but not least, number 6, Strolling Art Exhibits is one of the top picks during EPCOT International Festival of the Arts. Check the schedule to see which artists you can meet in person. Follow John and Nancy from j&ntravels as they snowbird in Florida for the winter months.
Today was our first day of resort hopping. We were going to go to 2 Disney resorts. Disney All-Star Resorts are known for their giant icons. Here you can see the guitar, the boots, and stuff for the all-star music. We also took advantage of the pickleball that was set up and had a quick game or 2. We then moved over to the All-Star Sports Resort with their oversized sports icons. Both of these resorts also have many themed swimming pools. Today's segment is a little different from us. Usually we review something or do some research on something. This is an event that we actually attended. And this is our view on the Festival of the Arts at EPCOT in Disney World. We're sitting here on a Sunday afternoon. This festival just ended this past Monday. It ran for about 2.5 months. They consider it one of the shortest festivals in EPCOT. Mm. We attended it, since we have our annual pass now, we attended it, what did you say, a half dozen times at least? Yeah, at least a half dozen times. So we can give you a pretty good idea of what it's like if you want to go, and if you should go. So do you recommend the festival, Nancy?
Yes, I thought it was really nice. I mean, they had all different kinds of artwork, obviously, but also all different kinds of food that you can experience.
I guess that's a good way to start, is to break it down. So you enter the beginning of the park. Mm-hmm. I think we came across 1, maybe 2 tents with art. Okay, there are tents with art all around the countries. Yep. Of the World Showcase, and there's a couple in the front of the park. And these tents are different artists. The same artist may not stay for the full 2.5 months. Sometimes they'll only stay for a couple weeks, and they'll rotate out with another artist. So even though we went in half dozen or more times, a lot of the tents had different art. So that was the first thing. So Nancy, I think probably the best way to break down this whole festival is we'll break it into 5 categories and just give a brief overview of each one.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5 categories we'll do will be the paintings or the art, the chalk art, which is on the ground, the Disney on Broadway, which was the Disney-specific music done on the American stage, general entertainment, which we saw plenty of that, and last but not least, the food.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we start with the first one, paintings. Okay, as I mentioned, we walked into the front of the park,
Mm-hmm.
and there were one, maybe 2 tents of art. I remember all but 2 tents. Let's say there was 20, 30 tents in the place, right? All but 2 were specific Disney art. There was one that had wine, and there was one that had these weird, I don't know what the subject of it, what these weird drawings or weird paintings. But all the others were Disney oriented, and there were some beautiful paintings there too.
Yeah, most of them were Disney oriented. Some were contemporary, and there were sculptures too, as well.
That's right.
Some were the Disney sculptures, and some were just glass sculptures.
Have you ever been to the Crystal Arts down on the boardwalk?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me
Most of the art
yeah.
there, either duplicates of it or the original, because we didn't go there during the show, were brought to this festival, and they were out on display, like the Seven Dwarfs coffee table, remember?
Yeah, that was really cool.
And your favorite statue, which is Olaf.
Oh, yeah, you could buy me that one if you want.
So, and that was the other thing too. The prices for them were astronomical down to affordable. They had smaller porch. They would take the same painting, say a Mickey at the beach, and they would have a very small size, and then the original large size. The large one went sometimes in the thousands. The smaller one, you could get anywhere from 40 to they range from 40 to 80 for the smaller pictures.
Yeah.
So you go into the country and you walk around the country and basically stopping in tents all along the pathway and looked at the art. There's certain ones that jumped out at you. You love the castle pictures, right?
Oh, I love the Disney castle pictures, and also the Partners picture, which was Walt Disney holding Mickey Mouse's hand. But my favorite was just the castle. My second one was Partners.
Which added to it was the first time we've been to Epcot since they've opened up that new area behind Spaceship Earth. That's quite a nice leisurely place to eat lunch or meet people or just hang around. And the other thing we saw a ton of in Epcot, more than we've ever seen before, were characters.
Yeah, we saw a lot.
And these are from stage areas like Donald in Mexico to Pluto and Minnie that were just put out in the middle of nowhere. They just bring them out and so people could see them. Kind of reminds me of the old days when the characters walked around. Even.
I also like to mention that beautiful bronze statue of Walt Disney World.
Right.
That was him looking out over Epcot towards the American Pavilion. That was really pretty.
Yeah, we got a little history on that from friends of ours, and that was very nice. I didn't realize that was lined up just that way, so that Walt is sitting there looking out.
Yeah, and he's not sitting in the middle because he's sitting on the side. So
right. So the art is the main focus. You go in, and we went every time we went in. We thought we would get bored, but like I said, the artists changed every few weeks, and you always seem to miss some painting that was put up. Either they rotated them or. So that was very enjoyable.
If you were going to buy one, there's so many to choose from. That's the hard part, which one to pick.
Right.
I already would have picked the castle.
Yeah, you did have a thing for the castle.
I had that thing for the castle, yeah.
Okay, so that's the art. Focal point itself, you can go there just for that. As you come into the World Showcase, on the sidewalks, going over the bridge, you want to talk a little bit about the chalk art they had?
Well, the chalk art was beautiful. I mean, again, it's Epcot Art Festival. How could it not be beautiful? They had all different kinds of artwork.
What it was is the artists, you could actually watch them work on the sides. They would sit and they would make these very colorful paintings. They made of chalk.
Yeah.
And they try and preserve them. They try and preserve them for a couple days, and they get washed away, and new ones would be put there. I think we saw new ones every time we went.
The way they did it, they had a pattern all cut out with a white sheet, and they laid that on the sidewalk, and then they pulled it off, so it left a print, and then they colored in the top.
Print.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a stencil.
A stencil, that's the word.
And what they did is they had those roped off. You're wondering why they weren't worn out by people walking over them. So you'd walk over the bridge, but these were on the left and the right side of the bridge, and so you could look at them. Like I said, there are always new ones every day we went.
Yeah, I like the teenage Rapunzel.
Yeah, that was a cute one last night.
Cute. And I like
last week, yeah.
The girl in the pearl earring, of course.
So those are very nice. The chalk art.
Yeah.
They also had an area that they gave chalk for kids to just write. Do pictures or whatever they wanted to do on the ground. So that was a nice diversion. And this really isn't chalk, but it doesn't fit into the other 5 categories. They had this big mural set up with numbers. And what you would do is go over to a booth. It didn't cost anything. You would get a little cup of paint, a certain colored paint, and that would be a number. Let's say black was number 1. And then you would have a brush and the paint, and you would go over to the wall, and you would fill in, I think they gave you 5 or 6 boxes you could fill in.
Yeah, squares.
Squares. So when that mural was completely done, all the numbers are colored over, you would be part of that art.
Yeah.
And they were on mural number 4 we went like the day before it ended, and they were on, I think, the last mural was the 4th one overall.
Yeah, we didn't partake in that activity, but it was fun watching.
Yeah, so that was another separate issue, thing you could get into if you wanted to. Then you move over to one of your favorites. You want to talk about the Broadway, the Disney on Broadway?
Disney on Broadway. Yeah, I really like all the Disney songs. My husband and I have a tape of all the Disney songs that we purchased, so we've been listening to them every time we go out. So it's nice to hear live music.
And who are the ones singing?
Oh, the singers.
Not by name, but they were people who actually performed on Broadway, right?
So these are Disney on Broadway. So so we had Frozen. We had Cassie Levy from Frozen. Patty Murin from Frozen. We had Lion King, Mary Poppins, more Lion King, and Tarzan. These are all artists that perform Disney songs. They were all Disney on Broadway.
What they were is the Broadway shows that are going around the country. The actual performance of these shows, say it was The Lion King, those were the performers that they had performing for the 2.5 months of the festival every night. They didn't necessarily just sing their songs. If it was a Lion King performer, they would sing some Lion King, but they would also do other ones, Mary Poppins or Hercules or whatever. Great voices.
Yeah.
Show's only a half hour long, so there's no reason to.
They performed 3 times. I think at 5:30, at 6:30, and 7 o'clock. So you could, if you missed the 5:30, you can catch them an hour later.
And supposedly all 3 of those shows were the same. So basically, you only need to catch one of them, and there were different artists every night. Usually a pair, male and female pair, right?
Yeah. So it was 5:30, 6:45, and 8, and I enjoy them.
Yeah, so that's a huge thing, that in itself, to go and listen to that music. Next thing, besides the Broadway shows, which we both liked a lot, I think we actually made our kids sit through one performance, didn't we?
Yep.
There was...
It's only a half hour, so it's a short performance, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly, if you can catch it, right?
Yeah.
And usually if you go to a park, you're there till at least 5:30, so you can catch it even at the end of your day.
Yeah, the last show was at 8. Yeah.
So that besides those, though, there was a lot of general entertainment. When we first came to the World Showcase, you're greeted by a stage that's right on the water, and that alone had a variety. They had a guy painting while dancing to music one day, remember?
Yep.
They had the guy on the what's that instrument, the horn there?
Oh, saxophone.
They had a guy doing the saxophone the other day.
Yeah.
They had I thought the best one was, you remember that? I don't even know what you call it. It's not really an acrobat. They're feats of strength, I call it. Remember
right.
that?
It was more like a Cirque du Soleil activity, or act, I should say.
Right.
They were really good.
Yeah, one guy holding another guy above his head, all sorts of different things. That was quite entertaining. There was also someone on the harp.
That was really nice, too. There also was a guy painting while he was dancing. Did you ever say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and there were more than that. Those are 5 of the ones that we saw, and I can't remember a couple of the others. So that was great. So you go into the World Showcase, and we went clockwise towards Mexico and looked at the tents.
We end up, since we did that, we end up hearing the mariachi band for the first time. That was really good. I really enjoyed them.
We heard them 3 times, as it turned out.
Yeah,
it's
I
funny
ended
when
up
you
hearing them
don't
3.
hear something, and all of a sudden you hear them and you can't.
I know. I was like,
so that they were playing. I don't know if that's the type of thing they do all the time in Mexico, or if they just do it for this festival.
Maybe, yeah.
As you worked around World Showcase, you know, there was a typical entertainment, the drummers. And in one of the countries, the belly dancer in the other country. Those are all like typical ones that we've seen before.
Yeah.
But then, of course, they added in Canada.
Oh, that was a great band in Canada. Yeah.
We went back to watch a group called Raffi.
They were great.
3 or 4 times. We liked them.
And the command performance at the UK, they were a good band.
Right. But back in Canada, we went back the last weekend to catch one last time, and of course they had a new band there.
Yeah.
Which wasn't bad.
No,
it just wasn't bad. We didn't like it as much as Raffi. Yeah. So then we headed over to the UK to the band, and Nancy said
they're excellent. Oh, I love them. Yeah, they were really, really good.
In the past, that band had just played Beatles music.
Yes,
way
that's
back.
correct.
But we were talking to someone there, and they've switched now. They play anything from the UK.
Right.
So there are a lot of popular groups,
Yeah.
And they were very good.
They were very good.
So we stopped and listened to them again for the 3rd time since coming down here. And I think both them and the Canadian band are there for, they have entertainment there during the rest of the year. It's just that these were highlighted bands for the festival. And I'm trying to think if there was any other entertainment that we saw going around. Do we see any other things? Do we catch any of that?
I don't recall.
Other than the characters being out and about a lot.
Yeah.
We got some good photos of that. And then the final aspect of the festival, last but not least, as they say, and this is the favorite of many people, is the food.
Yeah, you can get a taste of different types of food at each country.
Did you want to give an example of any of the specialties at any of the countries? While she's checking that, one of the favorites that people had recommended to us was just as you come into the World Showcase, they had a deal with a half grilled cheese sandwich and a small bowl of soup.
Yeah, it's tomato soup with grilled cheese, tomato soup with pimento cheese, bacon, and fried green tomato grilled cheese. People were raving about this.
Do you want to give what would be your favorite of each country real quickly as you fly through there?
Well, I like everything, so I don't have a favorite because I would enjoy everything. Of course, the pastries, they gave you at Deco Delights, they gave you Neapolitan dessert trio with chocolate tart, vanilla bean cheesecake, and strawberry mousse. That looks good.
What are some of the other favorites?
Oh, this one looks really good. This is near Canada. Gnocchi poutine. Gnocchi poutine with red wine braised beef, cheese curds, basil, and burrata. I don't know what that is, but...
So they had a lot of different kind of flavors that probably...
I saw a lot of people eating those empanadas and mussels.
Yeah, okay, right.
Well, not... and also the, what was it called? Beef Wellington. They don't give you much, but...
No, that's the thing. The portions are very small. It's not going to be a meal for you, most likely, unless you have a small appetite, and they're expensive. So you might just want to go over there for a few samples. They had this deal, and I don't know we didn't do it, so I don't know the exact thing, but it was like an artist palette, and you would eat at a handful of restaurant samples, like 6 samples, and if you did all 6 and got them checked off, you then could turn it in for a small pallet cookie as your reward for doing all 6. So that was a cute little novelty.
Exactly.
There was also a scavenger hunt set up in there to search.
This one looked good. The passion fruit-filled mango cheesecake.
That was when you almost got the other day.
I almost got that, yeah. But I saw people eating, mostly the grilled cheese sandwiches I saw. That line was always long. Empanada line was long. And also the line where you can get mussels, and there was something else with the mussels, but I'm not sure what it was.
During the peak of the festival, the lines, you'd swear that you were waiting for an attraction. They were enormous. I could not believe people were
waiting for that popcorn bucket, the popcorn bucket. So, but Disney does things well, and you can order it online and pick it up at the end of the day.
Disney learns from their mistakes, and I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
They've had buckets, popcorn buckets in the past, and people I've talked to waited in line 6, 7, 8
That's
hours
so
for
crazy.
these things, which I
would
cannot
never
picture.
do that, but now they got smart.
Now that you can pre-order them,
yeah.
You can even walk through the area where they are and scan the code in with your phone
Yeah.
and order right there and then.
Yeah.
They have them all set up. When we were there numerous times, we walked through because
Yeah.
it was I don't even know what it's called, but that building in the middle of the lake there that you walk through, coming from the World Showcase going to the
It's
front of the
called,
park, and they had no line. I never saw lines there.
Yeah.
It was incredible. So they've really handled it well now. Not sure why it took that long. We also came across, what was it called? Sandot?
Yeah, I like that. That was really interesting. That Sandot Creations.
And he was only there for the festival. Where
Yeah,
you could
he was
press,
interesting.
You would press your hand in or use one of their molds and press it into actual sand. And then he would pour a substance in, and I imagine make it like a, what do they call that substance you make? So you pour it in.
Oh, like plaster of Paris?
Yeah, like a plaster of Paris, I guess, and he dusted it off, and you could decorate it with gems or different things.
He had all kinds of different molds. They look cute.
Right.
They're really cute, and you can hang them on the wall. So he makes it so you can put a hook in the back.
Right. He'll put that in when he gives it to you.
Yeah.
So that was another novelty.
Yeah, we were there watching a girl. She had done her hand, and we got to see how we did that. So that was really interesting.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're probably forgetting a lot of other things. So
well,
overall,
they had the spin art too.
Right.
That's been around for a while, but I've never seen the sand art like that.
Right, I agree. So overall, would you recommend the art festival? And the second question I have for you is, would you recommend it going like year to year? Or is it something that you see once?
Oh, I
and you see
definitely
enough?
recommend it because I think year to year is going to be different. There's always going to be different entertainment. There's always going to be different artists. So, and also there's probably always going to be different types of food, So.
And I agree with that 100%. You're going to go to EPCOT anyways. This is really a freebie tossed into your EPCOT pass.
Oh, another thing too, because it's getting so close to the festival, the Flower and Garden Show. Towards the tail end, you got to see some amazing topiaries. I love the Frozen one, of course, and Winnie the Pooh, my two favorites.
Yeah, that is a little prelude, a little advertisement preview for the upcoming festival coming up in another 10 days or so.
Yeah, on the 28th, yeah.
28th. So we do both recommend it. Hopefully this helped you if you were contemplating coming this time of year to see the festival. And if
it is a little crowded, but you could expect that.
Probably should have. You're right. You probably should have mentioned that. We tried every day of the week. The weekends are ridiculous.
Yeah,
so don't avoid the weekends. We found the best day was a Thursday for some reason.
Yeah.
For crowds, but still, that was definitely the best day because even the food lines were nothing on Thursdays.
Right. If you're more into the rides and everything, you're gonna expect there's gonna be long rides because the festival brings in that many more people.
And that's a good point. If you're there for the rides are going to be over an hour, the attractions.
Definitely.
But if you're there for the art and the shows, and you go on the weekday, it's not bad.
No.
Because you're just standing out there anyways.
Right.
So that's a very valid point. So we do recommend it. Hopefully this helped. And
we're glad we experienced it, and I hope to do it again.
Right, down the road.
Yeah.
So Nancy, as we get to the end of another one of our podcasts, this is where you like to toss out those trivia questions and give people those long-awaited answers. So what are the answers to your 3 trivia questions?
Okay, the question was, in what country did the first Starbucks open outside of North America?
What country did the first Starbucks open outside North America? And what's the country? I have no idea.
And the answer is Japan.
Japan. That makes sense, but I had no idea.
Number 2, where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II?
Where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II? It had to be somewhere very secure, but I really don't know where it would be. Where was it?
Fort Knox.
Fort Knox. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
And this one I knew because I had learned this somewhere along the line. But number 3 is Pocahontas was baptized and given what English name?
Pocahontas was baptized and given what English name? I always thought it was Pocahontas. What is it?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Okay. I wonder if that's in a movie or a show or something, if they ever refer to her as Rebecca.
I don't know. I just researched Pocahontas one time because I was interested in her life, and that's how I learned it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nance, for those.
You're welcome.
Nancy, as we get to the end of another podcast, we always like to look into our mail and see if anyone has sent us any questions. And we do have a few this week. So, one of the questions I thought I'd throw out there for us both to answer is a question from a listener that asks, would you ever consider moving to Florida? Now, I've been asked this question a few times from listeners. So, would you ever consider moving to Florida, from New Hampshire to Florida, full time?
No, I love Florida in the winter, but I would not like it in the spring or summer.
Okay. Any reasons for that, or
It's just too hot.
that's okay? That's
Too hot and humid. I
Yeah.
don't do well in that kind of weather.
Okay. I agree with you, but for a few different reasons. I love Florida also, and but the three reasons I would not move to Florida, one being the weather. Like I said, when someone asked me this, and I told them, I said, "Your sun down here is just too hot. It's just way too hot in the summer. I like the seasons up in New Hampshire. There's a lot going on, even though the winters I hate up in New Hampshire with the snow." Second reason is, of course, we have family living right in our town. We don't want to just give up and leave them because who knows what's down the road for time with them.
Right.
And the third reason is we love the Kissimmee Orlando area right now. So much to do, but we might get to a point where we want to just get away from traffic, go to a different part of Florida in the winter, and do a whole different thing. And if we moved down here and bought a place or rented a place permanently, we'd be stuck in this one location. So those are my three reasons. But be basically around the same page. We would not move to Florida full time.
No, I'd never do it.
I would do I think the max I might do would be a 7 months here and 5 up north, but more towards 6 and 6, I guess, would be the perfect split. Thanks, Nance. Thanks for coming to J&N Travels Podcast.